Welcome, everyone, to episode 30 of the Reid Method Insider Podcast. This episode 30 is one of the most anticipated episodes yet since I started just over a year ago. And we're excited to have a very special guest joining us tonight via Zoom and Facebook Live. Tonight's episode is appropriately titled, It's Possible. Get ready to unleash your full potential in 2018. We know this is possible. I'm taking action to unleash my full potential in 2018. And we want to share with you some valuable practices, insights on how to unleash your full potential. Before I introduce our very special guest joining us via Zoom, I want to welcome back a very special friend. Ronnie Fisher is in studio with me tonight, and welcome back.
Everold, what an experience. It was the first time, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Amazing, yes. And Ronnie and I did episode number 13 on about effective networking. And that episode, by the way, has been extremely popular. I checked the stats this morning, and that was worth mentioning. So I'm really pumped tonight, as tonight's discussion is about great possibilities in 2018 and unleashing one's full potential. So you're already having one of those breakthrough years, Ronnie. I see that.
Things are exciting. I'm, including this. This is one of those possibility things that Les Brown on the show tonight. This has been in the manifestation process for how long?
For months. He doesn't know that, but it's been months. Well, so folks, our special guest tonight, as one of the world's most renowned motivational speakers, our very special guest is a dynamic personality and highly sought after resource in business and professional circles for Fortune 500 CEOs, small businesses, owners, non-profit and community leaders from all sectors of society looking to expand opportunity. As a premier keynote speaker and leading authority on achievement for audiences as large as 80,000, our guest energizes people to meet the challenges of the world around them. Hundreds of thousands are watching him on YouTube, and tens of thousands are showing their interest on Facebook. Addressing audiences from many continents, he's been invited back again and again for his powerful message and the ability to connect deeply with people from all walks of life. Revered as an icon by his colleagues, he received the National Speakers Association coveted Council of Peers Award of Excellence, and ultimately its most prestigious Golden Gavel Award for achievement and leadership in communication. Toastmasters International also voted him one of the top 5 outstanding speakers worldwide. Legions of followers flock to stadiums and arenas to hear a man who's never stops believing that with proper guidance and training, you can achieve anything you desire in life. This is why we're privileged and pumped to have one of the world's leading speakers, Mr. Les Brown, joining us tonight. Welcome, Les.
So I have a plan, a ritual, action steps that I take every day to put cancer out of my body and sciatica pain. So that's one. Then the relationship with my children, collectively and individually. I have 5 boys and 5 girls. I'm filing a lawsuit against the people who came up with that concept about the rhythm method. It doesn't work. I'll prove it doesn't work. So becoming clear, what do you want personally, professionally, health-wise, and the next thing is, what's going to change about you? You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. What is it that some radical change in your behavior, in your thinking, in your choices, some radical letting go of certain habits? It was Warren Buffett, he said, habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. So what habits that you need to let go of? What choices? I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but it doesn't go with my plan of action of having a 6-pack. I got a 1-pack right now. But I love super crunchy peanut butter on wheat bread and jelly. I love it. So I've got to let that go because it's blocking me. All right. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here, up in here. And so once you become clear, then break it down into manageable chunks and start building blocks, start working on it, and have some things that you do every day that will move you in the direction of the manifestation of those dreams.
Very good. Very good. So making those important choices.
Yeah. Les, can you just kind of dig deeper into the clarity aspect? Because that's something I struggled with in the past. And I found that my clarity just kind of happened, let's say. What can some of our viewers and listeners do to sort of identify what their clarity actually is? Because I find that a lot of people don't have it, number one, and therefore just telling them to find it isn't necessarily an action step towards gaining it themselves. So what can somebody do to find their clarity and be sure that that's exactly what they want out of life?
All they have to do is make the commitment to get it. There's no secret formula. That when I end this evening, I've decided that the things that I want to move me in the direction of my goals and dreams, the resolutions that I've made, that in order for me to make that become a reality, I will write down 7 things tonight before I lay my head on the pillow that I feel that will move me in the direction of my dreams. 7 action steps, what I want out of tomorrow. Now, most people are just trying to get through the day. I know my goal is to become cancer-free, so let's focus on that. So I'm making preparation that tomorrow, part of my menu will be broccoli and asparagus. Part of my menu will be my Tai Chi and my yoga and my meditation. Part of my goal and dream for tomorrow and becoming cancer-free is talking to my support members and finding out what extra things are they doing with herbs to keep inflammation at a small level in their body. So I have an agenda for tomorrow. That's for my physical health, for my mental health, my physical activity, and I journal. I write down things that's important to me, and I'm preparing each day for my exit. You know, Leo Tolstoy said, as I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? And so a good man leaves a legacy for his children and for his children's children. So I was in a conference call today, and I wrote down last night, I will have a conference with my youngest daughter, which is Serena, and she is now the CEO of Les Brown Unlimited. My oldest son, no matter how old your children become, they are still your children. He's 53. He's suffering from a stroke. So he can't do this anymore. So Serena has to take over. And my oldest daughter, she will be the president of the Les Brown Institute. So I'm not only positioning my children, but I have 15 grandchildren and I have 3 great grandsons. So I focus on the things that I'm doing for my family. I purchased $1 million worth of cryptocurrency 3 months ago. It was at $2. Now it's over $600. So now I'm giving them all of their wallets. I'm divvying them up and I'm saying to them, it's your call, it's your choice, but you now have what it is in your portfolio, in your wallet to do as you so desire. And a certain amount of it is carved out for financial literacy, financial education, and for them upgrading their education. So every day at this stage of my life, February 17th, I'll start my 74th year on the planet. I'm working on my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren's education. And I'm fighting off Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all of the things that stalk you as you get older. Betty Davis said, old age ain't for wimps. So I have a strategy of eating the right things, exercise, prayer, meditating, Noma Yoho, Renge, Kyo, chanting. I'm doing the whole works. I call on Jesus, Allah, Melchizedek, the whole gang in order for me to do what I want to do. My goal is to go beyond a healthy 100. And so I have strategies that I engage in every day that make it clear to me what I want and who I have to become. What is it that I need to change about my behavior to produce the results that I want in every area of my life, mentally, emotionally, financially, family-wise, and spiritually.
So if those of you out there listening didn't believe it was possible, this is such good encouragement from someone who's had some adversity, but is taking some steps to make sure that you overcome and tackle those and turn and take the positives out of it. Like I'm so encouraged by how you're choosing to, to deal with these issues and, set all these priorities and all these goals and 7 things at night before you go down to bed. Those are all very important success steps. And I'm very, very honored that you would share that story with us. So for our listeners on the podcast and viewers watching tonight who have the desire, the dream to be ultimately successful and have the best year yet, what is that one thing or characteristic that you think can trigger that path to success where they can say it's possible for them?
The one thing that I think is major, and that is make the commitment. Don't ask yourself how you're going to do it, because how is none of your business. My favorite book says, lean not unto thine own understanding. There are things that you can do, things that you have in you that you don't even know now, that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. Just think for a moment. You're talking to someone who was born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. I'm adopted. When I was in 5th grade, I was labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failed again when I was in the 8th grade, and adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. You see me because of 2 women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. So this woman who adopted 7 children, and I was among those 7, worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. And she cooked for them, and we ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. She kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of their children. And I thought about, before this interview, Mr. Swiderski. I used to shine his shoes, and he was a very wealthy man, and he loved Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Don't allow your negative thoughts to stop you. You have the power to do more, to achieve more. Control your thinking. He loved Jim Rohn. When the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. He loved Earl Nightingale. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. And I had no idea, as I was shining his shoes, listening to these recordings, that my mind was being retrained. My belief and my vision of myself was being expanded by being in the presence of those voices, just as you and Everold are doing right now, Ronnie, speaking to people and interrupting the story they believe about themselves. That's what you do as an announcer, as a speaker, as a results coach, that when we speak, Emerald's vision and his show is about distract, dispute, and inspire how people live their lives as a result of the story they believe about themselves. When the program comes on and you have guests that you interview, you override the story of the listeners that they believe about themselves. You distract them from those stories as they're being distracted now. Dispute. Through the gems, through the ideas, through the strategies, through the methods that they pick up listening to the conversation, they then begin to dismantle their current belief system. Jacqueline Onassis was asked the question, what if you lost all of your wealth? What would you do to gain it back? And she said, I would go to the most expensive restaurant, order a glass of water, and sit as close as I possibly can to the wealthy people that's in that restaurant. And she said, in 3 years, I have back everything that I've lost. And so I practice that. I listen to motivational messages on a regular basis. And I engage in a ritual even now at this stage of my life. You're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And so that process has served me well to be where I am now. Distract, dispute, and inspire. That as a result of people listening to this program that you are now on, listening to the two of your voices, some of them I'm going to reach, but there's some of them that will listen to you, Ronnie, because they're part of your tribe. There's some of them that will listen to you, Everold, because they're listening to you not just with their ears, but in their heart. And as a result, they'll become like a pencil in the hand of God and become, as Mother Teresa would say, and start writing a new chapter with their lives. So that's what we do. And I feel that if we all practice those principles of programming ourselves, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, we can begin to accomplish the things that we set out for ourselves.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just incredible listening to you every time. And one of the things that really stood out to me right now was the fact that you said we need to distract them first. We need to distract that story that they've convinced themselves, they repeat it to themselves multiple times, and now they believe that, and it's not true. So what are some of the things that somebody can harness so that, we just approached just 2 weeks ago, New Year's Eve. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions. And these New Year's resolutions, people are motivated for the first couple of weeks, but I think they decline very quickly, right? So we want to stay motivated. How do we harness the power of our own motivation and change that belief system that we have? What can we do to distract ourselves if we don't have somebody that's taking the initiative to distract us for us?
That is a very important question. And the key to that is basically very simple. Number one, have an agenda for your life. Decide what is it you're going to listen to? What is it that you're going to watch? What is it that you're going to read? Who is that are listening right now? And decide that tomorrow morning when I get up, I will carve out a minimum of 1 hour. I'll wake up early and I'll read 30 to 40 pages of something positive. Number one, I followed this process many years ago in 1980 when I heard Brian Tracy. He said the average American reads one book a year. And he said, if you read one book a month, in 5 years, when the average American has read 5 books, and you read 60 books, you will become an expert. Well, I decided, because I don't have a college education, I decided because I never worked for a major corporation, I disciplined myself and I made the commitment to read 3 books a month. As a result, from 1980 to this time, when I speak in the United States, and I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you what works. From that time to this time, because Jim Rohn was right, you don't get paid by the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. From that time to this time, if you go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, in 35 minutes, I earned over $400,000. And I used to be someone who worked for the Miami Sanitation Department. From that time to this time, for a major pharmaceutical company, and everything can be verified online. In 1 month, speaking for 45 minutes from Monday through Thursday, I earned $640,000. The average American will earn only $240,000 in their lifetime. That came as a result of my programming myself deliberately. Make a conscious, deliberate effort to take care of yourself. Because if you read 1 book a month in 5 years, you will be an expert. Knowledge is the new currency. The second thing that is important, look at your relationships and ask, what is this relationship doing to me? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? As you look at the goals in your life for 2018, there's some people who you are associated with in 2017 that they don't need to be in your life. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. So you have to operate out of the thinking of Dennis Kimbrough out of Atlanta, who said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. So I spent between December the 26th and January the 3rd making a list of everybody that I communicate with most, family members and friends, and start drawing the lines through the names of individuals that I have outgrown. Mama used to say, Leslie, if you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll become number 10. And the final thing is, as you look at yourself and look at your goals, knowledge is the new currency. And so focus, once again, because where focus goes, energy flows. So I don't watch the television. I don't engage in conversations about things that's not my agenda. I don't answer a telephone call unless it's positive, it's purposeful, it's productive, and it's profitable. The reason that most people don't reach their goals because they give permission for too many interruptions. Be ye not conformed to this world. They have an entertainment-driven mindset. My goal, and the people that I train, the speakers that I'm training, I teach them how to have an achievement-driven mindset. We live in the greatest country in the world. We don't have to make America great again. That's bull. America has never stopped being great. I've traveled around to 51 different countries. People try and outswim sharks to get here. They try and outrun Jeeps barefooted to get here. And when you look at it, there's something wrong. When more people, according to the CDC, committed suicide last year than died from traffic accidents, over 3,000. And so I submit to you that as we look at ourselves, developing a culture of hope and achievement, when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. I submit to you that when we look at our relationships and decide to practice OQP, only quality people, to discipline ourselves, to turn the television off and focus on our dreams. Everybody that I trained today, I taught them how to use their story to make a difference, because Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. How to make a difference with their story and how to create income, how to control their own personal economy with their story. And I submit to you that if people work on their minds, increase their skill set and their communication skills, and organize collaborative, achievement-driven, accountability-focused relationships, they can transform the planet and change the course of their history.
OQP.
Yeah.
Only quality people.
Well, I just learned a new one for 2018. That's nice.
In that last couple of minutes, there was about a dozen or more golden nuggets in there. And I'm just trying to dissect some of these and sort of let it marinate within me. But I got a question for Everold. I said, Everold, I'm listening to Les, and I've always looked up to Les as one of the greatest motivators, inspirers, encouragers, and somebody that can get up on a stage in front of thousands with the confidence. But what I'm really noticing, and I'm wondering if you noticed it, that this man is living it. He is absolutely living the process that he's out there teaching. And that's what's really impressive right now to me, because I can feel your energy coming from the vulnerability stories that you're sharing and sort of stepping into an area that's not necessarily comfortable for most people to discuss. But here's the action steps that I'm taking. And I admire that. It's incredible to see somebody as a teacher like yourself who is living it, living with purpose.
And
Thank you.
It's one thing to know everything that you do know, but the other thing is to put things into action. And that's what you are to me, is an action guy. It's not just a talker or a smooth talker on stage, but someone who's had been through the adversity, who, I know your story. I've watched many of your videos, and, the audience, some may not know the story, but, I remember even this morning I was listening about you sleeping in the office, and them stopping you and asking you, why are you sleeping in the office? Like, people don't know sometimes the adversity that successful people go through. But what I can say to you, now that I'm seeing you face to face, and you and I have spoken via phone a couple of times before, and we've texted, but we've never met. And I can tell you that I truly admire your journey. And I truly admire that you have not just used that journey. You've used that journey to help other people so much. And that to me is the most valuable, is that, helping others, not just, and your children. It's very admirable what you're doing for your kids as well. Because obviously, you don't want to see them go through the same struggles that you've had to. And I really, that's very impressive to me. So I want to touch on a moment in your life, a moment in life that triggered a realism of two words in your mind and your heart. And those two words open the opportunities that never before and has brought you to sustained success and accolades. What are those two words and what do they mean to you? I think I know what they are, but I'm going to ask you.
The two words for me are I can. I got a call from my brother and he said, Leslie, are you sitting down? And I said, what's wrong with Mama? I can hear it in your voice, Wesley. He said, Mama has breast cancer. The doctor said that it's metastasized to her liver. The stomach is protruding. And we wanted to let you know. And I said, okay, I'm coming home tomorrow. He said, no, you don't have to. Because what we're going to do, we're going to put her in a nursing home. And in Dade County, they have some wonderful nursing homes here. Now, I had a problem with that. I said, listen to me. Get Margaret in on the phone, Leonard, Angelo, Sharon, all of you, listen to me. Leslie, we can't take care of her. I said, I can. I can. So I had a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't take care of themselves? Now, 7 grown people couldn't take care of one woman. And even though I had just gotten reelected to the Ohio legislature, even though I'd been selected for the chairmanship of the Education Committee and the Human Resource Committee, and they were positioning me to run for Senate and then the Congress, I caught a plane the next morning. I'll never forget when I rang the doorbell, a friend of my mother was there named Mildred. And she said, Mildred, Leslie is here. Mildred said, Mamie, Leslie is here. Leslie's here. And I heard my mother say, I knew he would come. I came in and I said, unpack everything that had her packed up to take her to this nursing home. I said, Mama, I said, you raised 7. I told my brothers and sisters, all of you can take off for 2 years if necessary. I'll pay your salaries. She raised 7. 7 will be here when she takes her last breath. And Mama at that time was 77, and she passed at 89. I believe doctors should never tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is that my knowledge and ability to help you has terminated. And so I said, I can. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I said, I can. And I believe that we should, as my favorite book would say, call forth those things that be not as though they were. I said, I can. I'll take care of her because that's what she did when she adopted us. I don't believe that I was given away. I believe that I was chosen with love. She said, I can. I will take care of them. That's what she told my birth mother. I will take care of them. I will never separate your twins. You can count on that. They will go to bed with food in their stomach, a roof over their head. They will never go without. I can take care of them. And she did. And that's who I am. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. I'm just like my mama.
Everold, when you asked Les those 2 words and you said, I could probably guess what they are, about a dozen 2 words went through my head, and I'm just wondering if you were correct.
I was very close. It's possible.
It's possible.
And it's basically the same thing as like I can.
Or I am. Or I will.
Or I will.
And the words that we choose, those are the ones, and it threads back into the clarity and the first step that you had mentioned. Because when you choose these words, it is declaring out into that universe, to yourself, to the others around you, that you have the potential. It will become possible. And that's what's going to manifest for you, because those are the energy, that is the vibration that you've put out there. And that's what you're going to receive, because it's the thoughts that create things. And the circumstances are created by what our mind believes, right? Les, I'm sure you're a fan of Napoleon Hill. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
Yes. If you work. There are a lot of things that my mind can conceive of that I know that I will not achieve. All right. That's nice and cute, but yeah.
I know I won't.
Yeah, but you said that thoughts are things. I don't believe that. I believe commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Secret, I had a problem with that movie because nowhere in there did they ever use the 4-letter word WORK. You can think about it, but until the rubber hits the road, until you start working on it, I thought about speaking. I dreamed about it. I visualized myself being on the stage. But until I got the courage to do something about it, until I hired a coach, Mike Williams, a guy that I used to go see, he wrote a book, and I encourage everybody to get it, called The Road to Your Best Stuff. And I went to see him, and I admired him and his style of speaking. And I said, can you teach me how to do this? And he said, yes. And up to this point, I didn't do it for 14 years because I don't have a college education, because I didn't feel that I can compete with people with PhDs and MBAs. I didn't feel that I could convince corporations to reach over people with years of corporate experience that I don't have and hire me to teach them how to do something I've never done. And I remember him saying, Brownie, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You could learn. And so I was willing to discipline myself to learn, and I committed myself to memorize 5 quotes a day. There's nobody on the planet that know more quotes than I do, and I'm not bragging. I just disciplined myself not to allow anyone to outwork me. I disciplined myself to provide the best service possible for people who booked me as a speaker, because Zig Ziglar, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Tony Robbins, all those guys had one speech, a memorized script. I teach and train speakers now, and I teach them, never let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience wants to hear. And all that get understanding. Conduct communications intelligence. Give them an assessment point, of an assessment plan, and ask them, what is it they want? What is it after this experience do you want your audience to walk away with? So that this will be something they can sink their teeth into. This will be a presentation that you can use that will increase sales, increase closings, and bring out the best in them and inspire them to manifest the next greatest version of themselves. And then after I have that information, I take the story that I bring and I intertwine that to create an experience. When I came into the industry, everybody was regurgitating Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, giving the information from that. If information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. No, they can Google the information. The key to transforming lives or becoming successful is making yourself stand out. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it could never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And so as a result of my being willing to do the things today that other speakers won't do, the guy said to me today, isn't that hard, doing all that kind of research? I said, yeah. But why do you do it? I said, I can't afford not to do it. My goal is not to be a speaker. My goal is to be a dominant speaker. Take no prisoners and eat the wounded. And so as we look at ourselves, we have the ability to do more. We have to challenge ourselves, to raise the bar on ourselves, to go beyond our comfort zone, because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been.
I think he's speaking to me right directly. The conversation we just had on the ride over here was exactly my next opportunities. And those are the exact words that I needed to hear right in this moment. I'm just grateful.
Take no prisoners and eat the wounded.
Yes.
That's great.
Wow, that's good. You can listen to the Reid Method Insider Podcast, folks. It's episode 30. And this obviously is the biggest episode yet. And just over a year since I started the show. And Les just spoke to the whole thing about, I can and taking action, not just doing research, but doing the grunt work, rubber to the road, like you said. And I never thought a year ago that I'd have someone like Tom Hopkins and yourself and other special guests and Ronnie here with me in studio doing a podcast show with listened in 50 plus countries across the world by thousands of people. So it's all about doing. And I do love your attitude. I love your enthusiasm. I love the fact your passion. And, it comes right through. And trust me, we're going over the card tonight with a conversation after this episode. So, so listen, we're going to try to, wrap this up in the next few minutes. I know you've got a busy schedule, and I very much appreciate you coming on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
So, yeah. What are 5 behaviors that, if adapted, and we can keep this concise if you like. What are 5 behaviors that, if adapted and practiced, can unleash one's greater potential within? We know that they have to be deliberate and we know they have to take action, but in your opinion, what are 5?
Number 1 is transforming your mindset. That they did a study of some 3,000 top achievers around the world. They wanted to know what was the common denominator among them. And they discovered that 85% of them reached their goals because of their attitude, 15% because of their aptitude. So retraining your mind, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's number 1. Number 2, giving yourself a home court advantage. Change your personal environment. Upgrade your relationships. There's a new term in psychiatry called relational illness. There's some people that can make you sick. And so you want to look at your relationships and ask the question, what is this doing to me? Am I becoming a better person? Am I moving in the direction of my dream? Am I on course because of this relationship? People who have accountability partners, people who have people in their lives who challenge them, who inspire them to create the next greatest version of themselves, keep their commitment to their dreams. And so you have to look at your relationships and upgrade your relationships. Number 3, have goals beyond your comfort zone. Why? You don't know what you can do. Sometimes you've got to become intelligently ignorant. And so therefore, practice being an assassin. Kill every mediocre behavior in you. All of the negative thoughts, all of the negative things and choices you've been making. Warren Buffett said, habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. So look at these habits that you're engaged in, the ritual that you practice in every day, and decide, I'm going to let that go. Let go of be drag. 4, have the mindset that I will do this. John F. Kennedy in 1961 called his cabinet together and said, we're going to go to the moon. When I was a kid, we used to say, to illustrate if something was impossible, we would say, you have as much power to do that as a man going to the moon. He looked at Werner von Braun. He said, Werner, what will it take for us to go to the moon? They had no money, no budget, no technology. The computers did not exist. They didn't have a clue how to do it. And Werner said 5 words. And based upon those 5 words, the president called a news conference a few days later and said, we're going to the moon in 10 years, and we did it in 8. What were those 5 words? He said, the will to do it. What will it take for the people that are listening? That among the 20,000 people that are losing their jobs every day because of technology, every day because 50% of the jobs today can be done by robots, every day, 20,000 being laid off. What will it take for them to create their own business or advance their own career with another corporation or develop the ability to find ways to generate income to control their own personal economy? The will to do it. And the 5th thing that's necessary, Og Mandino said it. He was a very good friend of mine. He wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World. He was a guy who loved my former wife, Gladys Knight. I had her sing to him at the National Speakers Convention the year before he died. He said, persist until you succeed. I came through a very tough time this last year, 2017. I never stopped. Because of sciatica pain, I spoke from a wheelchair for about 8 months. I never stopped. even though they told me at the Cleveland Clinic that cancer had metastasized to 7 areas of my body, and the pain that I feel in the scapular area is a result of that. And I was smiling. This guy said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, 7 is my lucky number. I'm one of 7 children. My birthday is February the 17th. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. My phone number is 702. 7 is my lucky number. That means that cancer is getting the hell beat out of it, and I will persist until I succeed. I aspire to inspire until I expire. That's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. Well, you answered my next question already, and just so the audience know, what the question would have been is, what is the one thing that high performers do to realize greater potential that others just won't or don't do? And that you answered is to persist.
Yes, don't stop, because the law of probability will catch up with you. Don't stop. I've got a saying: if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Willie Jolly said, a setback is a setup for a comeback. Don't stop. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Don't stop. You were born to win. Don't stop. You were chosen out of 400 million sperm. Don't stop. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Come on, somebody.
Well, what do you think?
You just listen to him, man.
Yeah. He doesn't want to say anything. He just wants to listen.
Because it's difficult for a lot of people. You can tell them those 5 steps and you can share with them everything that they need to do, but something still holds people back. And a lot of the times the answer is fear. So what would you share with the viewers on how to overcome some of the fears that they have and some of the obstacles and objections that they might have within themselves?
Well, I want to challenge you on that. Fear, as Zig Ziglar said, and false evidence appearing real. And I say, don't live from your fears, live from your heart, live from your faith, finding answers in the heart. If they listen to you every day, if they listen to a message every day, faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. Somebody asked me, Les, I've been doing this for a long time. It hasn't happened yet. When will it happen? I said, I don't know. When will a baby walk? It will walk when it walks. Some walk sooner than others. When will it talk? It will talk when it talks. When will your dream happen? It will happen when it happens. Just do what you need to do. Keep your commitment to your commitment. Do the things today others won't do. If you want to have the things tomorrow others won't have. And part of that is don't quit. Part of that, don't come up with any excuses. Part of that, be determined that you will snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Love it. Persist. Wow. Talk to me less about personal development and the challenge of not what you want, but what you can become.
That's exciting. Somebody asked me today, what's the most difficult thing you've ever done? The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I could do it. Being adopted, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, no college training, to believe that I, Les Brown, who I don't even know my birth parents, who was called the dumb twin. Mama, you say, Leslie, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Yes, words can hurt you. That's not true, Mama. They can, and they hurt deeply. And so it has taken a long time. I remember my son asking me after I had a major setback with the cancer. He said, Daddy, are you going to die? I said, John Leslie, we're all going to die someday. Nobody's figured out how to get out of life alive. He said, but is this cancer going to kill you? Are you going to see me graduate from high school? And at that time, he was 16. He's 33 now. I said, no, it's not going to beat me. John Leslie, life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. I am determined. I'm going to fight to be here. I will see you graduate. Trust me on that. I'm going to be there. Physically or in spirit, I am going to be there, and I'll give you a sign if I've crossed over. And if I die before your graduation, don't let them embalm me for 3 days. Sneak into the funeral home and put a microphone in my casket. If I don't grab it and say, you got to be hungry, then you say, Dad's gone. I encourage everybody that's listening to go on YouTube and Google Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. They're going to enjoy it. It's called It's Not Over Till You Win. Watch it for 30 days. That will keep their commitment to their commitment. Watch It's Not Over Till I Win and Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. The other one is watch Getting Unstuck. Watch that every day. And the other one, watch It's Possible. It's not going to cost you anything. And if you have a story you want to tell, allow me to be your coach. Just email me to lesbrown77@gmail.com. That's lesbrown77@gmail.com. I'm looking for 77 people who want to make a difference in life, 77 people who want to become messengers of hope, because I believe when there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. I just want 77 who are hungry, 77 who are coachable, 77 who want to invest in themselves. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So, very, very good. So, folks, you've been listening to the Reid Method Insider Podcast. It's episode 30. We are going here a little bit over time because, rightfully so, we have Mr. Les Brown on the line and on Facebook Live with us in studio with Ronnie Fisher. And I know Ronnie's the smile hasn't left his face since we started. So, we're kind of pinching ourselves here, just, taking this all in and listening to you. And I know our audience, based on the Facebook reaction here and the activity going on Facebook, there's a lot of people, hundreds of people listening right now and watching right now on Facebook Live, and then thousands others will tune in on the episode once we upload it. But I just another couple of minutes, and we'll go through some quick lightning round questions, and then we'll ask her. I know you have an event coming up in London, and if there's any events that you want to tell the audience about or share with the audience, we can get that up as well.
Yes, I'd like for them to go to lesbrowninlondon.com, lesbrowninlondon.com, and spread the word. I also like for them to like my page, my Facebook, and share it. And I will be in London January the 20th. And in April, I'm doing my speaker training. I'm teaching people how to speak to the world and how to discover your power voice and how to tell your story, how to begin to learn the strategies to orchestrate an experience that will transform people individually and collectively. And so that takes place in Fort Lauderdale. They can go to my website, lesbrown.com, and get more information about that. It's going to be in Fort Lauderdale. I do that with my oldest daughter and my son. I love it. It's hands-on. It's very intimate. And when they come out, they have a strategy of how to tell their story, but also how I earned my first $1 million in 3 years, and that was in 1980, and how they can do it in a fraction of the time.
Wow. Well, just a couple lightning round questions here, Les. Do you chase excitement or happiness?
I experience happiness. I make a choice. When someone asks me how I'm doing, I say better than good and better than most. It's the best day of my life. I'm living my dream.
I've been waiting to ask you this question all episode. And is there something that you believe wholeheartedly about success and great possibilities that others think may be crazy?
Yes. Judge a man or woman not by what they accomplish, but what they had to overcome for their accomplishment. Nick Vorovich, who I speak with, Nick, who was born with no legs and no arms. We went to Poland together. Over 30,000 Polish people filled the stadium to see us. We went to Auschwitz. We went to the Jewish concentration camps, the German concentration camps. And all I could think about, here's a young man who was taunted, who was bullied, who at one time wanted to kill himself, through no fault of his own, brought to this world with no arms and no legs. And yet, he was standing on the stage talking to people how they can live their dreams. Wasn't feeling sorry for himself. Wasn't asking God, why would you give millions of people's arms and legs and hands and feet and have me looking like this? He can swim, he skydives, he's married, he's a good father, he's an entrepreneur, he's a good friend, he's an incredible human being. Have every reason to feel sorry for himself. And every day when I hear his voice, he inspires me. He recommends me for speaking engagements. I call and say, look, I want to help you. No, I want to help you. You have inspired me. I said, you have no idea. I cried. I said, I inspired you? I inspire you, inspire me. Man, come on, I got arms and legs. I can wash my face. I can feed myself. I was on the plane. He had an assistant with him. And one time his assistant went to sleep. I said, I'll feed you. And I did. And I was so humble. I don't have nothing to feel bad about. Even if I left here now, I'm in this place where Leo Tolstoy, the German author who said, as I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? And I believe that Nick Vorovich, that Everold, that Ronnie, and the people that's listening to us now, that are watching us on Facebook, that we're in God's pyramid. We are dealers of hope. We are bringing light in a very dark world. We have decided that before we leave here, we're going to make our mark. We're going to reduce the recidivism rate. We're going to reduce the suicide rate. We're going to reduce hunger and hatred in the world, because that's who we are, that we're called to do this. Here we stand, how we live our lives as instruments of God, because we can do no other. It's the calling on our life. And as much as we have chosen this path, I believe in all my heart that you were chosen, Ronnie, that you were chosen, Everold, that the people that are listening to us, rather than watching the basketball games and worrying about if the Cavaliers are going to beat the Warriors or worrying about some other program, that those people that are listening to us, I don't think it's any accident. They know who they are. They don't hear us in their ears. They hear us in their hearts. And I believe they're angels. I believe coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. Somebody hearing us tonight needed to hear this. My youngest son is in a mental institution because he's bipolar and he's not taking his medication. My oldest son has a tube in his stomach and he dropped from 263 pounds. He's now weighs 65 pounds. He's my oldest son. He's 53. He's at death's door. And I'm believing God for a miracle. As people that listen to pray for my son Calvin and my son John Leslie. I don't care how your children become, they're still your children. And so I'm not going to miss speaking to you or giving people hope because of what I'm experiencing with my children. Think it not strange that you're faced to fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. Forrest Gump was right. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And my favorite book is right. He said, I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. It's not easy, but with conscious, deliberate effort, we can find peace.
Amen.
Thank you, Evra.
Thank you so much.
Last, I've
Thank
got
you, Rodney.
one more question. You've contributed a lot to me tonight, and over the years and listening to you in speeches and videos, and you've done a lot for others. You mentioned your beginnings started in Miami. I happen to be traveling there on Monday, and I want to know if there's anything I can do or anyone I can reach out to in that community of yours that would be in your honor. It's something that I can contribute. And just kind of maybe give somebody a hug or take somebody out for a meal, or if there's somebody that could use a visitor or something like that. I want to make myself available. I want to put myself out there and just say thank you for what you've done for everybody else.
I appreciate that, and I do have someone. I do, and so I will have Giorgio get your information. I would like, if you or anyone listening know anybody. My son is being fed in his stomach by a tube. He can't swallow his own saliva. He had a stroke, and the cells between his esophagus and his brain shut down. So if anybody knows any procedure, any doctor, somebody just gave me a recommendation of stem cell, anything, anybody who's gone through this experience and they were able to activate those cells, email me, lesbrown77@gmail.com, lesbrown77@gmail.com. I believe there's an answer out there. My son doesn't want to live because he can't swallow. And I said, don't give up. It's humbling. I'm able to motivate people around the world. And my son, my namesake, he just said, Dad, I don't want to live like this. I feel I'm a burden. You're not a burden. You're not a burden to me. You can't swallow now, but it's now. It doesn't mean it's forever. Hope is on the way. Jesse used to say, if you can keep on hoping, you can keep on hopping. And so I
believe it's possible, Les.
Yes, I believe it's possible. Somebody's got an answer for my son.
Yeah.
And I'm believing that.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I believe it's possible. I wish you and your son, I'll be praying for you for sure.
Thank you.
I want to thank you wholeheartedly for coming on the show and giving us some extra time. And any last words, Ronnie?
Yeah, no, just expressing my gratitude, Les. I mean, this has been a great experience. You've done so much for so many people, and it's just I admire so many things about you. Keep pushing, keep going forward, keep doing it. I see your drive, your hunger is still there, which is so impressive, and you got so many more people to touch. And
yeah, I'm very honored that you so much with us tonight on my show. You certainly hit home with us, and I believe in you. I thank you, and I want to wish you and your son and your family, your entire family, the best. And until next time we get together again. I can't wait till the next time now, Les, because this was so good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye, Ronnie. It's so nice meeting you. It's always a treat when great people meet. Thank you, Everold. God bless you.
Take care. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. Bye now.
Yeah.
The history on Michael Jordan.